far?
I was just talking immigration, our last trip to Yuma last week and San Luis. We were talking about the border of Congressional District 7 and 6 here in Arizona and some of the places it includes. And I think what we started with was just some of my decision making on hopping into this race after the former congressman passed away and the special election was announced.
Okay, good. So I'm all caught up, and
Yeah. That's the recap. If you're just joining us.
How about you, Big Sarge? You all right, man? You was okay without me? You didn't fall out, or okay? You're only halfway in. You're not good yet.
All the things, yeah.
Believe it or not, I can hold my own. I just, like I listen to myself talk every day. It's like I hear my voice and I'm like, shut up. So also, I make rant videos. So like I have to like rehearse my rant videos, and then like a 10-minute video will take me like 40 minutes. So I'm like, so today in the. So yeah, it's just like nobody wants to hear me.
Listen, I get it. The videos. Constantly filming campaign content, and I'm like used to filming content alone, but now our team has grown for this campaign, and so people will always see me. I sort of have this signature like flipping the camera around, walk and talk situation, and very embarrassing because what you see online looks like, of course, that was one take, but
right.
Sometimes my team sees me do more than one.
That's not one take. It's not one take.
It's hardly ever one take.
I started out the opposite way. Like I was behind the camera directing indie film stuff.
Wow.
And then one day they were like, you should film these Confederate Heritage Month things that you post. Like you should get dressed up in a costume. So I was like, okay, I could probably do that. And then I did it and I was like, this is not so bad. You get a little tripod, get some light. I like my film set lights were set up in my house. And they're like these giant bulbs that are in like these aluminum bags. So it's just this, like 80 degrees of heat. And I'm wearing this wool costume. I was like, no, you got to figure something out. So now it's like the phone.
There you go. Now you're locked in.
So speaking of it, I just want to, because we're talking about the online thing, talking about this whole idea of the presence online. What is yours like? Because I know that you, or at least from what I hear, from what I've seen, from what I've researched, that you've also been a part of other campaigns and getting the word out for people. What is your what's not your comfortability, but what's your history with being online, doing the videos? Are you always on Instagram? Is it something that kind of was born from you having a following, or have you had to actually build it and learn how to do that?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, I'm Gen Z. I'm 25 years old. I'm part of the first generation of people to come of age online. Right? You can imagine that I had Instagram just like so many others in middle school. This is how we began maintaining and keeping friendships. I never lost track of anyone, right? Everyone I went to middle school, high school, still available to me on Facebook. It's a different way of coming of age. You get immediate responses to every phase, every outfit, every thought, as you're still building a sense of self. But I had a unique experience of coming of age online. And we got to have a little bit of a talk about this already, but just to expand on it, I went viral for the first time when I was 16 years old. And I was already a grassroots organizer. I'm 25 now, so a decade ago at 15, my mom was struggling with addiction. And while she navigated rehabilitation, I was on my own. And I lived with a boyfriend at the time and his family. And I was taught a sex education curriculum here in Tucson in Southern Arizona that didn't mention consent, that was medically inaccurate, that was taught by the baseball coach, and left students like me behind. So I started organizing at school board meetings, telling my story, asking my friends to come along and do the same. And I learned how to storytell. I learned how to organize. And after 6 months, we won a unanimous victory. to rewrite the curriculum in Southern Arizona's largest school district. Now, that being said, I didn't stop there. I started scaling up my work. And under the first Trump administration, because believe it or not, that man has been running for president since I was like 15 years old. Again, a different generation, a different way of understanding the world. Under his first administration, he attempted to defund Planned Parenthood centers, and Republicans here in Arizona voted in lockstep with him. Senator Jeff Flake, who's no longer a senator, he's a former senator now, he voted to defund these Planned Parenthood centers in Arizona where I got care when I had no money, no parents, and no insurance, and I left with the birth control I needed to take control of my body and my future, right? While I was working at a gas station, while I was living with my boyfriend out of need. And this man voted to strip that funding away, take it away from me and millions of people, right? Our ability to access that essential care. So I went to his town hall when Republicans still hosted those and asked why he, as a middle-aged white man, was making these decisions about me and my body. And he told me, I support policies that support the American dream. And I asked him why he would deny me the American dream. If birth control was helping me to be successful, be the first in my family to go to college.
Yeah.
And he said, thank you. And I said, no, thank you. And I woke up the next day and millions of people had seen the video. This was before TikTok. This was on Facebook and Twitter. Hey there. And that was my first viral video. So to answer your question, what is my experience online? At its origins, I have never been an influencer. I've always been an activist and advocate who marries good social media strategy, right? Just inherent to my generation to amplify the organizing work I'm doing. And this campaign is no different. We have viral moments throughout this campaign. Our first debate, we racked up over 10 million views on our debate clips. And it totally changed the state of this race by bringing in new volunteers, new supporters, and most notably, new donors. We raised $100,000 in a week with an average contribution of like $27. It was nuts.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. That's freaking awesome.
But it changes who gets to participate in our political system. I think about that first viral moment. I mean, when in the course of history does a 16-year-old girl working at a gas station get to be on even footing in the public discourse with the United States Senator? Like, that's revolutionary in so many ways. And it's a through line to the campaign I'm running now. I'm running against someone with a legacy last name who inherited her dad's donor list, somebody else who's taking corporate PAC money, right, funded by these big special interests. But we're not doing any of that. We're funded in 99% by small dollar donors because we can reach them online with good storytelling.
Sounds like the same thing. Same thing. I don't want to say the name. Cat Abu is doing, right?
Yeah, Cat.
Abu Ghazaleh.
Yeah. Out freaking standing.
Okay. Practice that.
We gotta practice that.
I mean, I also used to speak Arabic. Let me have another one of these.
So I got an email.
I'm going to be Congresswoman one day. Congresswoman.
Hey, that's right.
There you go.
I got an email from the folks, the team, and it said Abu on, and I was like, okay, well, if we can use that, then I'm using that one.
I think she sends that.
Yeah. So I was lazy, and I said, if she's okay with that, then so am I. Okay. So
I totally get that. Yeah. I believe that representation matters. So if somebody who grew up speaking that language and having their name constantly mispronounced, except outside of their family, I feel like I can make the effort.
Yeah, 100% fucking right.
I'll go back over here and have one.
So, go ahead.
So we had a question that I saw in the comments, and I wanted to get your take on that. And it's the one that's pinned.
Yeah, I see it down there.
Down there from Alex Trebecca. Haha, Trebecca. How are you going to convince male Gen Z from voting for Republican douches?
Yeah, we've seen Gen Z, particularly young men, take a hard swing towards either apathy, that it's not cool to care about things, right? That if you care, that's cringe. And even further toward the right. A lot of that has to do with isolation coming out of the pandemic, right? A lot of that has to do with the kind of content that these algorithms are tracking them into because of their gender, and a lack of content on our side for them to find community in. And I actually think what you all are doing is really important in some ways, to reach those young men and give them a space where they can see themselves represented, right? Where they can have conversations with other men about the policies they care about, the vision they have for the world that isn't just these MAGA extremist spaces. So shout out to you all for that work. It really is important that we build out our digital ecosystem ahead of the 2026 midterms, and certainly before the 2028 presidential, or we will lose again. And the other thing I want to add about how we're doing things differently is that we are going into those social media and new media spaces. We're not afraid to. We go on the podcasts, we do the live streams, we're on Substack, we're performing on TikTok. I think we've racked up something like, on TikTok alone, like 15 million views in this campaign, like something nuts across our channels, just organically, just good storytelling, viral moments, bringing people into this process. And part of that has to do with tactics. Part of that has to do with tactics, that I know how to use social media because I grew up on it, because I've been using it as an organizing tool for the last decade. And I've been a digital strategist behind the scenes on a presidential campaign. But some of it also has to do with the candidate, right? Like, we keep running kind of like not our best candidates in the Democratic Party, and they fail to connect, whether that's because we need younger candidates, right? Or because we need more working class candidates. I speak to the experience of having worked at a gas station and cleaned toilets for $10 an hour, and that we should pay minimum wage, because I've lived it, right? I can talk about growing up in Section 8 housing or on SNAP benefits and Medicaid, not just as talking points, but as the decision between back to school clothes and bills, right? Or getting one pair of shoes every school year, right? Like, these are lived experiences that I'm able to translate, that bring young people and working class people back into our party, because frankly, they feel left out. And I don't blame them. When I look around at this Democratic establishment, like, they clearly don't want candidates like me to succeed.
Yeah, they're done with that bullshit.
Now, this is a primary, right?
That's
that
right.
you got
This
going
is a
on.
Democratic primary. So we are running in a safe blue seat. And not to be like in my civics teacher bag right now, but something like 70% of congressional districts in the United States are either safe red or safe blue, which is unfortunate in some ways, right? It means that people don't actually get to participate in the process, and people hold on to their seats for a really long time. My seat that I'm running for in Congressional District 7 in Arizona is open because my member of Congress passed away while holding the office.
Fucking died. Was old as fuck. And not only that, they made sure that younger people couldn't have a say, wouldn't get elected into the other seats, wouldn't be taken into positions of power or authority or leadership or even underlings them. So they fucking died in office and fucked us. I'll say that part out loud.
Right. And, I'll say it differently because I'm the candidate, but, it leaves hundreds of thousands of people, my friends, my neighbors in my district, without a representative in Congress. Nobody voting on their behalf. Nobody fighting for them, standing up for them under one of the cruelest administrations in history, right? Like, it's not theoretical what the consequences of this are. We saw a budget bill, right? That big bullshit budget bill passed the House by one vote. And it would attempt to defund Planned Parenthood centers, take healthcare, Medicaid away from millions of people like my family, reduce SNAP benefits, take food off of the tables of our most vulnerable families, kids like me, when I was growing up. And that passed by a single vote. We have 3 vacancies because 3 members of the Democratic Party in the House of Representatives have passed away in the last few months. That is unconscionable. We have left our communities without representatives, and it has real impacts for families like mine that have to live with the consequences.
So, real quick, guys, my mic, is that all right? I turned it down a little bit just in case I have another
Turn up the
outburst.
enthusiasm, but turn down the mic. There we
I turned
go.
I
down the
was
mic a
I
little
was
bit.
this whole business that I was doing wasn't like to turn it down, it was to tone it down. She's
Right,
new. Like I don't know if she's been watching any of our content before
right.
like
No,
today.
turn
So
it up. I'm the
I
guest.
so,
apologize.
Don't
so
act
she
right
gets
for
on
me.
here and we're like, fucking shit ass biscuits. And she's like, oh my God, what have I gotten into?
No, y'all don't act any different from me. I think that frustration is righteous frustration. Like, I hear it every day at the doors. We've knocked thousands of doors. We've texted tens of thousands of people, made thousands of calls, and people are angry right now for good reason.
Yeah.
But a candidate like me actually does the hard work of moving people from that frustration and anger to action. We knocked a door here in Tucson where this guy answered and he's like, I'm never voting for a Democrat again. And these are the doors we're knocking are Democrats who vote in like 4 out of 4 of the last primaries. Like, these are strong Democrat voters. And
Yeah.
this guy told us, like, you all have lost to Trump twice. I am not voting for you anymore. And one of our volunteers, he's in high school still, sweet boy, spent like 10, 15 minutes talking to this guy about my personal story, why I'm in this race, what brings me to it, right? The single mom that raised me, the ways I know social services because I've like relied on them, and my work as an activist for the last 10 years. And that guy who said, I'm never voting for Democrats again, like leave, donated $100 before we left his door. Like, we are moving people from anger and like, fuck this party, I'm out, to literally being donors for our campaign. And truly one of our biggest dollar donors, because as it stands, our average contribution is like $27. So,
Yeah.
it's really cool to see that and see the ways that our campaign is breaking through with people who otherwise are like, I'm sitting this out.
So that high school kid,
Yeah.
when you get elected, not if, when you get elected, remember who that kid is and
Oh,
be like,
yeah.
hey, have you graduated yet? Do you need a job? Do you want a job?
Yeah, we hired him, actually. He's on the campaign this summer.
Good choice.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
choice.
He's working for that monthly stipend. He's killing it. And I think, this is something else that folks often look down on young people. They don't have enough experience. They don't have enough years. They didn't have the right titles. But I'm telling you, that energy, that enthusiasm, being able to be a strong messenger for this campaign because you understand why we need a new generation of leaders, because you yourself are without representation in Congress, right? Like, they bring such fresh faces and great energy to the doors. And I want to just come back to that question about Gen Z men, because like I said, this is a young man in high school, but we're also turning out people as volunteers that have never knocked doors for us. Every Friday we canvass. Actually, now it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every day, basically, we're knocking doors. But every single canvass launch, somebody shows up who has never volunteered for a campaign before. And that's not supposed to happen in a special election primary buried in the middle of 107-degree summer in Arizona, but it is. And there was this one Friday, which I'm very proud of, where there was like these 3 folks that pulled up. I'd never seen them before, so I introduced myself, said hello, how'd you find us? And these 2 young men told me that they found us on TikTok. This was pretty early on in the campaign. These 2 frat boys from the University of Arizona found us on TikTok, showed up to our canvas launch, had never knocked doors for a candidate before, and stayed volunteering until the sun went down, stayed out knocking the doors until the sun went down. And that's just one of the ways that our campaign is bringing new people into this party and doing the hard work to solve that problem of Gen Z shifting toward the right.
So there's another part to that. Like, you also spoke to the algorithm, and the idea that, well, there isn't enough content for them or there isn't enough content that speaks to
Mhm.
the young male mindset, whatever it may be, for whatever reason, is only half. There's the other half that is when it's there, it's not the same companies that own the algorithm
Mhm.
push them towards the thing that is the most gross and disgusting, regardless. Is there a way? Is there a way through legislation, through new thinking,
Yeah.
in 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 withholding money or funds, or within gaining new platforms, whatever? Is there a way through legislation or through a community that can change that can actually make a difference?
That's a great question. And I feel like I wish we could go there at like the expert level, right? Because this is my area of expertise. But if I'm being honest with you, we have watched these Senate hearings, right? Where our senators grill Mark Zuckerberg or the head of TikTok, right? And it becomes abundantly clear that our 60, 70 plus members have no idea what is going on online, that they don't understand these platforms at all. And 39% of adults under 30 are getting their news on TikTok right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Talking about legislative solutions, right? Which, like, even just throwing it back to 2024, one of the few things we saw get bipartisan support was the TikTok ban. And do you know how people, both on the right and the left, reacted in real life? Like, actual voters were like, this is not what we're asking for, right? Like,
right,
that is
right.
a part of my everyday. It's where I get my workout. It's how I get my recipes. It's where I decompress after work. And so what they are
Well, I
doing,
mean, let's not undermine it. That's also how we start wars now too, through
sure.
social. So, right, we'll just go ahead there.
Yeah,
Demand unconditional
this is
surrenders.
where we
Yeah.
legislate on platforms like X and Truth Social. You just say it into the world and then it happens. So yeah, when we see a president who is literally ruling, legislating by tweet, right, and then we are watching young people build their political opinions online and movements are growing. I also want to shine a light that, you know, the first thing that we need to do is elect people who better represent uh, the generational breakdown of our country. As it stands, 1 in 5 Americans is Gen Z, my generation. We have a single member of my generation in Congress. One representative for 1 in 5 Americans. And so, I think if we are going to legislate these social media and tech companies effectively, we need more voices in the room, more legislators who actually understand what's happening on these platforms. And it's one of the things I would uniquely bring to Congress. But as it stands, I mean, it's just embarrassing to watch these Senate hearings where, like, truly they are showing that they have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Freaking embarrassing.
It's wild to watch the gap between the knowledge and the tech is not slowing down. And I work in IT, and I am constantly faced with um, the task of trying to convey what the technology is and what it does to people who don't know and don't want to know
Mhm.
how it is.
Here's the
They
other
want to make a
thing.
policy, they want to make a law, and they just want to go, yeah, it's done.
Even in this budget bill, and I'm gonna have to start wrapping up here soon, my friends, but we saw people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, when confronted with the legislation in that bill about AI, right, admit that they did not read the bill that they voted
Right.
on. And I mean, this is the problem. It's the problem on the right, but it's also the problem more generally with our political process, is that we have people in power who are not taking their jobs seriously, who are failing us, right? Who are letting us down, both Republicans who have thrown rules out the window and have just become yes men to Donald Trump, and Democrats who have failed to stand up. And so, my candidacy here in Arizona's 7th Congressional District, which is a 2025 special election, the first referendum on if we learned our lessons in 2024 and who we are going to be as a country in the 2026 midterms. right? What kind of candidates will be funded, recruited, endorsed? We are the case study here in Southern Arizona. And what I want folks to look at this race and see is that we only have one change candidate. We have legacy last name on one side and big corporate interests on the other. And what we offer to this race is a break from the status quo, an opportunity to send a loud message to our party and our country that the way we have always done things is not going to get us out of this mess. And so I really want to encourage folks to get in our corner. Visit us. I so appreciate you having our link down there at dejafoxx.com to learn more about our story and our policies, but also to pitch in what they can. Like, we truly are grassroots funded. 99% of our donors are small dollar donors. Our average contribution is like $27 and something cents, right? And it takes a whole lot of $27 to make a congressional run happen. But when folks decide that their dollar matters, when they decide that their vote matters, like, that is how we are going to make a difference. And it's honestly what MAGA wants you to believe, that your voice doesn't matter, your vote doesn't matter, that you can't make a difference. And our campaign is showing people that they can. So I hope y'all will get in our corner. And I want to say thank you all for having me on here. I've got to hop pretty soon because we're heading to our next thing. Is there anything else I can answer? Anything I can close? Any Sons of Liberty traditions I'm missing?
Well, I usually do the 2 claps and a rake at the very, very end. But if you're leaving early, then okay. So at the end of
now I'm showing
almost all of my videos.
Okay.
So when I was a kid, I went.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me get a serious question in there before you got to go.
Okay.
Then we'll give you the 2 taps in the rake. Can I do that? Because I don't want her to leave. I want a serious one.
Okay. Go for it.
Okay. If I could donate $1 million tomorrow, I would. If only you answer two questions.
Okay, go for it.
The first one is, what's your response to the people? She doesn't have enough experience. She's only 25. I need a concrete answer that'll make people who are too old to understand the difference between TikTok and Snapchat say, oh, that makes sense. But number 2, most importantly, I would give it all, knowing that you're even in a blue state or in a blue district. If you could tell me, how do you fight that? When you say we need to vote new folks in, are you going to wait till they die? Is that what we're doing? What is the plan to fight that? What's the plan to expose them without destroying the Democratic Party? This is a thin line that nobody can confront. Everybody sees the problem. Do you have even the beginning of a solution to attack it and address it?
Yeah. So the first piece about experience, actually, I think connects to the answer, the second piece. So.
Okay.
First things first, I have a different kind of experience. I understand these cuts to Medicaid or SNAP benefits, social services, which is policy, right? It's the policy that our lawmakers just voted on in this bill, this budget bill, because I have lived it. Lived experience. I understand these policies in a way that these people in DC never will. I understand them the way people at home understand them, right? What it feels like to have people in DC debate the things you need to just get by when they have never, ever lived it, right? And they never will. And so I bring a lived experience to this and a connection to community, the kind of people, right? My mom still relies on Medicaid. She got a skin cancer diagnosis this year, but because of Medicaid, we are not in medical debt because of it, right? I know what it is like to rely on these services and to fight for them, to protect them. So the first piece is lived experience. These people in DC, they debate, but they have never lived the policies they vote on. The second piece is that for the last decade, I have not been a career politician. That's absolutely right. And in my eyes, that's a benefit. I have been an activist, and the job of Congress member has changed. It's not enough to just check the boxes and vote the right way. We need people who are going to show up and go the extra mile. I've been arrested protesting on Capitol Hill after the overturn of Roe versus Wade, right? I have been a part of acts of civil disobedience. I know what it's like to risk something. And when we see people like Alex Padilla, right, a senator, put in handcuffs for asking questions. Yeah. When we see members of Congress refused entry to ICE facilities to exercise their right and responsibility to oversight, it's not enough to elect people who are going to just fill a seat, right? Especially in these safer, bluer congressional districts, this is where we should be putting our greatest, strongest fighters. And the kind of experience we need is advocacy experience. I have a decade of that. And then to answer the next question about how do we change this system, right? I believe in leading by example. And I'm telling you that if everybody who told me I was too young to run went and told somebody else they were too old, we would be in a very different political situation right now. And I intend to show that we are doing things differently because we are. Right? When I tell you this number of 99% of our donors being small dollar donors, just for comparison, in our race, the other candidates, that number, the percent of their donors that are small dollar donors are 6% and 50%. It's not even close. What we are doing is basically unheard of. And so, I want to shout out that we are leading the way in a systems conversation, not just saying like we need a new generation of leaders and that means young people. It also means a new generation who does things differently, who is accountable only to the people, right? I don't take corporate PAC money. I don't take APAC money. I take only the money of the people who I would represent. And that accountability is different. And I believe that our political system would look different. They would make decisions that are better aligned. People would be less frustrated. They would show up to the polls more often if their elected officials actually represented their interests. And that starts with putting into action the kind of reform we would want to see, especially at a fundraising level.
I just donated.
Yeah, I'm about to say. So the whole political training team, we're about to try to find out how we can convert and divert some finances towards that campaign over there as well. But
it was really easy for me. I just went to the website and then clicked the donate button.
We make it easy for you. Believe we don't want to make it hard for you. Alrighty, y'all. Thank you so much for having me today. Can we do this little? What is the closer?
All right. So at the end of the show, which this is not the end of the show.
No, stay
at the
on.
end of my
Don't leave
videos,
if I'm leaving, guys.
I do a thing called 2 claps and a Rick. It's this little silly thing that we did at camp and when I was in like 6th grade.
Okay.
And it's literally just Rick stands for Ric Flair, who was a big wrestler in North Carolina, which is where I went to day camp. And it's literally just 2 claps and going woo. That's 2 claps and a Rick.
Okay, I can do that.
You want to do it? All right, I'll tell you what. For the very first time in Sons of Liberty history, I'm going to let you, somebody else, a guest, call 2 claps and a Rick.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right. All you got to do is just say 2 claps and a Rick, and then you lead us off. You got it?
All right, team.
So
Let's
awesome.
be clear. This is not the end of the show. I just got to hop because early voting has already begun. But we are going to do 2 claps and a Rick. Is everybody ready? All right.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Woo!
Oh, so
Okay,
awesome.
it was a little offbeat, but I'll be back another day and we're going to get it tight. Thanks, everybody, for having me.
It's their
Come
fault.
back anytime. Just send me an email and be like, hey, I got some time. And she left.
And she left. Yeah, she's like, I got to go, man. When I say I got to go, I mean it.
I donated too. I threw some money in there. I think I've donated to everyone we've had on. I don't think I missed anybody.
I think so.
I love it,
One
man.
person from the stream has. So we're still here. We got like
man. All right,
at least
damn,
another.
damn. Fill that airtime.
We're going to talk about nerd stuff or something.
That 4.2 update that just dropped tonight that can't get to until we're done.
4.2.
Yeah.
I've taken a hiatus from that place.
Oh, all right. All right.
So, what do we have in the news today besides Juneteenth and the anniversary of the Kearsarge turning the Alabama into a reef?
Well,
what?
What
What do you got?
What
do you got? What?
Well, happy
You want me to go
Juneteenth.
first? All right, I'll go first. Let me hold up. Let
Juneteenth
me
out there
pull
as
up
well,
my
in case you
listo
didn't say it.
memes, since that's how I get news these days.
Doug's
'cause-
got something. What you got, Doug?
what you
I
got,
was saying
Doug?
happy Juneteenth as well to those who if we didn't say it, to everybody. Happy Juneteenth. And if you don't know what it is, we could tell you. So write that in there. I'd be happy to give that explainer. It's worth
I
talking
feel like
about.
if you're watching this channel
You
and you
probably
have
don't.
no fucking idea what Juneteenth is,
Yeah.
then you just come here for like the political stuff and you haven't seen any of our Civil War content.
Or they
I'm
just come here for
a
the
huge
feedbacks.
nerd for,
We
or
don't
that.
judge.
Yeah, I mean,
We don't judge. Got to keep that OnlyFans going.
They just come here
Yeah.
for the 2 claps in the Rick, man.
I mean, there was that too.
I do have to say she is the first person outside of me to do the 2 claps in a ring. I don't think any of you have done it either, have you?
No, I mean we do it with you, but
Right? Yeah. No, I mean
Nobody's
like
ever
leading
called
it.
for it.
You know.
well, the whole point is you're here. You would be leading it off. So
I don't know, I just
That,
got inspired. I'm like,
that's
hey,
the first
you know
time
what?
in
You do it.
history. I'm gonna make sure I catalog that.
But talking news, we did have the announcement today from Trump that stay tuned. In 2 weeks, he's going to announce when or if he's going to go in and bomb Iran. Stay tuned. It's always 2 weeks, folks. I don't know if people have noticed the pattern. Whenever Trump is not going to make a decision about something, he says give him 2 weeks.
He's
Just
had
like
2 weeks
infrastructure
for a healthcare plan.
week was going to be in 2 weeks.
For 12 years. It did 2 weeks for a healthcare plan.
Still waiting for
to
his
replace
healthcare plan.
Obamacare. Yeah. 2 weeks.
But now it's 2 weeks till we find out. You have to tune in to Truthy Social, where the fuck his dumbass Twitter knockoff is, to find out.
And you can only
where we'll be
access it on
banning.
the Trump mobile network.
On his Trump phones, made in China.
Oh
You
my
remember when
God.
Obama phones was like a big deal and people were like, oh, the Obama phones for the poor people. And now they're like, yeah, Trump phones.
He wasn't selling them for that.
The Venn diagram
Yeah,
of those
exactly.
two is a circle.
Yeah.
Dude, I always come back to this fact
I don't
that
want that motherfucker having access to my personal data. I don't even want like T-Mobile or Sprint or Verizon.
Well,
having
they
that
already
shit.
sold it all to Palantir, so they're building a profile on you, Sarge. It's like the whole thing in Captain America: Winter Soldier. They're building that database of who the future troublemakers are, so they know who to take out first. Freedom.
hashtag freedom.
2 weeks to wait. That doesn't even make any sense though. Like they're already firing bombs and rockets and missiles at each other and shit. Like what?
You got to tune
2
in for
weeks,
next
there might not
time.
be anything left.
Those of you who
I don't think he
subscribe
really
to the
meant
Trump
2 weeks.
Premium package will find out in 1 week.
Oh,
He didn't
my
actually
God.
say 2 weeks. I think that Matt
swear
was
to
just
God, he
joking
said
when
2
he
weeks.
said 2 weeks. He
He
said 2
absolutely
weeks.
said 2 weeks. He said 2 weeks today.
Excuse
Said
me.
it to the press pool today as he
So
was
sorry.
giving one of his, deranged meanders through
Concepts
streaming
of the
consciousness that he does.
plan. That's great.
Meanwhile, we have 2 of the 4 Doomsday planes, the outfitted 747s that are meant to fly during a nuclear war, have been moved into position. One has been moved into DC. The second one, we're not sure where it is. It may be being kept aloft. And no one has seen JD Vance, so he may already be on one, just in case.
Nobody's seen JD Vance since Zelensky, and prior to that, nobody had seen him since the election. So
No, I don't think anybody's seen him since the Pope. Took care of the assassination, got to go on a little vacation after that.
He's in Russia.
weren't those like the same day though?
He's in Russia holding
With a
on
body
to
double,
Putin's
Fox
dick,
News will have you know.
making sure it's shiny and bright and clean at all times until he's called for the purposes of advancing Putin's agenda in America. That's where he is. You're not going to find.
But yeah, our 2 of our Doomsday planes are activated. One of them is standing by in DC in case it needs to take the president away from whatever shitstorm he has called down in Washington DC. So happy Thursday, everybody!
Yay! Outstanding. So here's the deal. I'm getting all types of questions, and the writing team is bringing up a lot of talk out there that we're looking at, like, hey, do we want to do something about this? Do we want to do something about that? And the idea that somehow, because of what Trump said before about leave, go ahead and evacuate Tehran, that he means nuclear war. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, why are we jumping to nuclear? Like, what is, like, who said that was coming?
They don't appreciate, Doug. They don't appreciate that we have the technology to level an entire city full of people with conventional ordnance. They don't appreciate the firepower of the American Air Force.
There you go. So I just wonder, like, is there something I'm missing? Am I wrong in thinking that? Because I've been holding that back every time somebody says it.
No,
like,
it's wild that he is just randomly called for the evacuation of their capital, which would, it's 10 million people in their capital city. It's going to take them weeks, a month, even if they were complying with it, to get people out.
Mm-hmm.
You have a writing team?
You don't look at the budget line items. You don't attend the budget meetings.
I have to make this shit up myself.
Oh yeah. Doug's got a whole staff too, man.
On occasion, like Elo and V will like write a thing and be like, okay, but when you do this, you have to say this. You have to say that admin V says yada yada. I'm like, okay, got it. But that's like few and far between.
So what happened is,
I need a writing team. I want a writing team.
Well, attend the budget meeting.
I require a writing. I demand a writing team. Can I
there
get a writing
That's
team?
How you do it. What happened was, if you watch,
who wants to help me write rants?
Now, listen, at the end of my videos now, I realized that trying to do it, both things wasn't working. I saw how you guys did on Facebook, and for years, that's of course how we do it, and I still do that to this day. But at the end of my videos now, I go, hey, do you want to be a part of what we're doing on Political Drain? If you do, email here. And if you like to be a writer or this or that, and over time, I have found enough people who have been competent enough. P Dubs is one of them. Macaroni is one of them. I think they're all here today, actually. Laura Malcolm, the co-host, is one of them. I saw Katz Amanda is one of them. I think and Iris is one of them, and I think that's it here. So these people I just begged. If you could just beg and say, hey, I want to help with writing, people.
And then you get to sex.
Well, I mean that.
What did you just say?
I find begging for sex.
That's what I've heard. Here she comes.
I find begging for sex to be a turn on.
Siri, show me what cot looks like.
Couch. What's that? I can't hear you, Tim. What happened?
Tim, you were saying something a minute ago, Tim.
If you had a writer, this wouldn't have happened.
I feel like you had something to say, Tim.
If you
the words
had a
are
writer,
right on your lips. The words are right on your lips. What happened to them? What happened to them? Did they go somewhere?
Does anybody want to offer it to be Tim's writer for live?
Offer us here, Tim? I think you had something to say there a second ago.
Is there such thing as a writer for live rants? Is there such thing as a writer for live rants? No, go ahead. And the next thing is,
it turns out Edmund Tim values his life.
I found out. Oh man, I'm gonna try to get him in trouble, but I can't even think of anything fast enough. It's too weird over there.
Are you kidding me? My mind is like a scroll wheel of options of things that would get him in trouble.
That's why you beg
he's
for
gonna pay for that later. Later when there's no cameras or witnesses.
Woo. And once again, just so it comes out on top. I don't know how it happens. It just does. I felt the steam.
This is my
I felt
drink
the
coaster.
steam. Hey, I want one of those. I thought you said I'm looking. Can I get something free?
Yeah, I had coasters for the whole admin team, and
That's what I heard.
I got
And
like
then I was
one
like,
person sent me their address.
You
I was
have
like,
my
I will-
address.
I know I sent it.
I have your address because you sent it to me when I asked, and nobody else
Oh.
did anything. And then I was like,
I'm just saying.
oh,
I
now
never
I got to go
sent
to the
it.
post office.
You get a coaster, Doug? Because I didn't get a coaster.
Let me talk to
I'm
the
saying,
wife.
who are these
What's
members of
going
our
on?
staff team that are getting coasters?
Send me your address. Damn it, we got like a whole Facebook Messenger group.
Didn't I send
I
you
live at
my
123
address?
Elm Street. Yada yada.
I'm sending it. I'm sending it right now.
Sir, I have not only sent you my address, I have sent you a doll-sized Warhammer 40K figure of your likeness painted. Now tell me
was
I've
pretty
not
sweet.
sent you things.
That was,
Hey,
was also like
here's another
10
one.
years ago.
Macaroni is here.
It might have been 10 years ago.
I'm sorry.
It was let's see, I was still living on the lake, so that was
Yeah, it's true.
at
You were
least
still
5
living
years
late.
ago. Where does the time go?
Lisa Jones said,
For those of you who
Sarge.
don't know, Admin Tim is a notorious cosplayer in his before time, and he had a bunch of pictures of himself in a Dark Angels Space Marine outfit, which looked fucking amazing, by the way. And when McFarlane came out with their line of 12-inch tall Warhammer 40K figures that you could hand paint and do them, I found a guy who'd actually do a 3D print of Sarge's head. And I got one of those things, got Sarge's head on it, and painted up just like his costume, sent it to him. It's like, oh, I got to do it, right?
I gotta
Yes.
the picture here.
Before
Let
time.
me find the picture. I have no idea how to find the picture. Oh, there it is. Hold on. All right,
You ready
now
for
I gotta
anything?
share the screen.
You got to remember, Sarge is only like 50 in this picture.
Hang on.
See.
All right. Present.
Yeah, it's present.
Share screen. Window.
Dark Angels would never accept a ginger. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic?
That is my son and I, and everybody who knows Dark
I
Angels
was
is
going to
like,
say, which
oh,
one's Tim?
you should have had him be a watcher in the dark. And you know what? I said, like, what kind of costume do you want to be? He goes, I want to be a spaceman like Daddy. So, I mean, like, I'm not going to make him a watcher in the dark if he wants to be a space marine. So,
That's kind of badass, bro.
Yeah, honestly.
That's kind of badass. Who made that?
It's better than any of the costumes
did.
I ever did.
I did. Both of them.
God damn.
Yeah.
That's awesome,
Really good work.
man. You obviously had way too much goddamn time on your hands. Let's get to work, bro. Let's get to work.
That
I know
was-
what's happening over there.
I built that before I started Sons of Liberty and had no.
Oh, that's what happened.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
making videos every day. Videos.
That makes sense. No, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, now he's a teenager in like 10th grade. So
That's what's up. So I just sent you an email. I'm not sure that whatever one it is, it says coasters, bro.
which
I would
one
like
did you
one.
send it to my personal one or you sent it my personal one? Okay,
I'm
I got
guessing
it.
that's
All
the
right.
problem. I'm sending stuff to your personal.
No,
Yeah,
no,
well,
that's a good
that's
one.
the one that I. If you have my personal email address, use that.
Yeah.
So
You know,
and
it's
all
just-
the admins have my personal
There's a
email.
comfortability I have with you,
address.
Tim, you know?
The one that I actually check.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll go ahead and leave you guys alone on this one. I think when your wife came and stole the show, it pretty much it did it. And then after I
We're
saw
not trying to get him killed, Admin Doug.
then I think when I saw what's her name? Who is this? Somebody who's been talking shit all night. When I saw Lisa Joe come in and say Lil Sarge,
Lisa.
and I was like, I was like, there you go. When the name has officially been changed from Big Sarge to Little Sarge, then we've got to regroup, fam. We got to regroup.
Little Sarge's my baby.
Right. I knew it was coming. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, we knew that was coming.
Waiting for it. Oh man, this is a fun one. I love it. So, what's the? I'll tell you what. Who has bets? When will we
When the
see
war
our
starts?
first? Yeah. When is the war? When do we see our first soldiers lose or land?
When Trump decides to commit ground troops to Netanyahu's war,
Yeah.
I give it 90 days after air operations start. That's enough time to pre-stage, get troops, mass them, post a lot of things on True Social, forget about it, go golfing for a couple days, come back and go, oh yeah, I'm invading a country. Man, speaking of invading countries, Panama and Greenland kind of fell off the radar real quick, didn't they? That idea just flew out of his head.
They're all like
Never
sending gift
refused
packages to Iran right now. Thanks very much for taking the heat off.
Thank you for joining me.
As I said in one of those rants, the whole idea is to manufacture consent, and none of it meant anything. But he would actually, maybe because he has people around him that love to do it as well, would actually be able to go ahead and do it. He doesn't care for human life any other than his own. And next thing you know, what's even more important to him than anything else was the fact that somebody was dropping bombs and he wasn't involved.
Yeah.
It wasn't about him. So that can't stand. That can't stand. He's gonna have to go ahead and now he has to say, well, I was in India's transaction. There's something going on in the world that doesn't involve the child spray can. And we may be going to war simply because we have a child in office who thinks that there's something that happened in the world that doesn't involve him, and someone else may be getting credit for it. So he's willing to send your kids to die, America. Thanks.
He sees everyone in uniform as a sucker and a loser there to be used for his own entertainment and agenda. He doesn't give a shit how many troops get killed carrying out this bullshit. And Azure, I saw what you saw. Yeah, I agree. Ground invasion Iran, incredibly stupid. Absolutely. No question.
Absolutely.
And you're all right. Several people have pointed out, Constitution has to authorize a war. The War Powers Act says he can deploy military forces for I forget how many days offhand. They're
90.
90 days.
They're trying to amend that, and the GOP Senate keeps shooting it down. I believe there's a motion in the House as well.
Best question ever is bets on the likelihood that the GOP ends up stopping this war before Trump does, because they're in a fucking election section. Now, there's two ways to go. GOP used to vote for war to win elections, but they have so successfully played the card like, oh, well, we're not about wars, so other people can think that Biden and Kamala were, that they've promised something that I think that they usually love, and that's getting defense contractors rich as fuck. So what's the bet on them being the ones to stop this war because they need to win and they realize that they cannot if this continues?
I mean, it could happen. They could read a poll as well as, I mean, they might pretend they can't read polls, but they could read polls. And military intervention is very unpopular at the moment. Now, maybe that changes. Maybe there's events happens, but at the moment, very unpopular. And like you said, there are elections coming up. And right now, they can look at any of the special elections that have happened so far this year and look at the red districts running 20, 25 points the other way from where they have been. That is for those of you who don't follow politics closely, a 20, 25 point swing is a huge swing especially in a district that is normally very strongly for one base or the other. You'll see bigger swings in districts that are close just because there's more people that can go either way, change their minds. Districts that are very strong in one way do not move like we have been seeing. And that has got to be freaking a lot of them out. Election was held today. The Dems would sweep in the House to a ridiculous level. Yeah. And they'd probably retake the Senate. But election's not today, and there's a lot that's going to happen between now and then. And they're going to make by them, I mean the GOP in Congress are going to make a lot of calculations about what side of the line they want to fall down, because there could be a lot of money primarying them if they don't line up with Trump, and there could be a really unpopular position they're defending if they go with Trump's agenda.
Tim, what's the bet? What's the line? What's the bet? What are we looking at? 1,000 to 1, 100 to 1.
I'm not taking those odds at all. Under normal circumstances, I would, but this fucking clown is so erratic and capricious. Not to mention the fact that, all right, so first of all, the people that make decisions within his own camp, his minders, they're fractured.
Yeah.
Like I posted, I don't know if I posted it this morning or yesterday morning, but it was a thing, both the Tucker Carlson thing and the Alex Jones post. It's like, I resent having to begrudgingly be on the same side of an issue as those two fucking cocksuckers, and that's where we are today.
Yeah.
Those are the two worst fucking people that I could think of that I have heaped scorn upon, and over the past 10 years. And for them to be on the same side of an issue as me right now, I'm like, I should go play the fucking lottery.
So
Tim's going to play the lottery.
He's going lottery. Okay. So that means he thinks that. So wait a minute. Number one, I agree. This dude is so erratic that it's hard to even be able to make those decisions. But I just want to say, this absolute freaking bald tanner, white conspiracy theory fuckface, whose mother hates him and his father is left alone and used to wear bow ties to have instead of a personality, Tucker Carlson destroyed that sleazy slime scumbag.
Look up that highlight reel if you can, because Cruz got violated. It was delicious.
Ted Cruz was absolutely destroyed. And I'm wondering, why can't other actual reporters do that?
Yeah, right?
He's not a reporter, though. That's the thing.
It's true.
That's the thing.
Well,
that's also what makes it even weirder.
Cruz expected softball
because he's not a reporter. He's a pundit, a talking head, and he has systemically been a fucking bootlicker the entire time. There's not a single time where on camera he's been in any kind of disagreement whatsoever. Behind camera, yes, the voting thing when he was texting all of his buddies and was like, these people are fucking idiots or whatever he said. I think he might have called him the R word. I don't like to use it. So
oh man, I just deleted. Oh shit.
I think that's exactly why it was effective, though, is because he thought he was in friendly territory. He thought he was going in to get softball questions, and he didn't expect to get hammered like that. And Ted Cruz is the kid who does not do his homework and then gets called on by the teacher and then is just trying to ad-lib like mad to get out of it. And the teacher just keeps zeroing down on it. And that's exactly what unfolded.
Never if you had told me a month ago or even a year ago that one day that I would be on the same side of an issue as fucking Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson, I would be like, you are smoking crack, and I think that you need to bottle up whatever hallucinogenic you got there and sell it on the Sons of Liberty merch story.
T-shirts,
on the other hand,
coasters, hallucinogenics.
the
One-stop
other
shop.
thing it shows is, yeah, it's not because he's dumb why he was an absolute destructive force to America itself for 10, 15 years. It's because he wanted to. Because he actively hates you, you fucking dullard, you stupid idiot. He hates you. He absolutely hates you, you Fox News watcher, you stupid on purpose fuckface. He hates you. And he at any time could have told you the truth and knows the truth and is smart enough to dismantle any one of these idiots. Like that is the scariest part and the funniest part at the same time. Like he knows better.
Yeah.
At any point he can do research if he wanted to. Like he could ask good questions if he wanted to. He's racist and he hates the idea of a democracy where him and his people aren't in charge. He hates women because his mom hated him, and he's taking it out on all the people who are too dumb to realize it on Fox News. And that's the real story there. I hate to give him credit for actually doing a journalism, as my friend in the chat said.
I know. Anytime we get to see Ted Cruz get humiliated, I mean, I'm down.
But
for
I'll
that,
take it, right?
Honestly. Yeah.
That was beautiful. That was
daggone
beautiful. All right. Well, what do you guys say, man? I can get to a video I need to be editing. We're doing 2 claps in the Rick.
Is it that time?
Is it that time?
Do we do it twice though?
Never done it twice.
I don't know. Like I don't want to get sucked into the vortex, man. I'm not sure. Can you do it twice?
I mean, we can. I just, are we at that stopping point?
Doug says at that stopping point.
I think so.
I do need to go make another drink.
Yeah, I can go finish
and explain some things to the missus.
Yeah, you got other shit to do. We're not going to ask you what you got to do, Tim. You can keep it private. But I do have Juneteenth. I can go chill with the fam on my holiday, man. I think we're good here.
I mean, I guess.
You can celebrate it too. There's been a debate all day. Can white folks celebrate Juneteenth? And I'm like, bro, it's an American.
I feel like it's not up to us to make that decision.
If it's a federal holiday, then it's made for everybody to at least reflect on it. Like,
I mean, I think at the end of the day, if you're invited to the cookout, you're invited to the cookout.
Yeah,
if you're rude not to go.
MAGA can't celebrate. That's right. Like if you still make potato salad with
raisins,
with more raisins than you do egg white.
Honestly, what the fuck is that?
If you don't bake your macaroni, or you
can celebrate Juneteenth. See, that's why I'm saying. I knew this is where it was going. See what I'm saying? I was trying to stop it for a guy.
All right. Next week's live stream, we've got Sunny from Tell the People podcast. It's a website that tracks, I haven't been to the website myself because I'm a terrible fucking host, but it basically tells you like which businesses support which end of the political spectrum, and I think you can enter in your own results as well, like when you find something. And I'm still working on trying to get Jolly Good Ginger to commit. I should follow up via email. I got to hang out with him at the March 14th protest. So other than that, do we have any big things coming up besides more rant videos from whoever makes rant videos around this joint?
Well, we got more rant videos. We've got
you and
more
your
memes.
writing team, and me and my stupid gerbil wheel in the head. That's
I don't use the writing team for SOL rants. I don't do that. I feel like it's cheating. I want to come up top.
I mean, I would have some events and stuff planned, but my planning staff is out on vacation this week, so
this guy
got on my own. Yeah, you got to go to those planning meetings, Bob. If you're not at budget allocation, how do you expect to have a staff?
All right. That's going to be our time for the evening. We're winding it down, and this bad boy's almost.
Big Sarge needs a refill.
Yeah. All right, y'all. The weekend is coming up, so weekend safety brief. If you're going to go swimming, make sure you use protection. If you're going to have sex, don't do it alone. Or something like that. I don't know. Don't run with scissors. Don't take your toast. Don't make toast in the bathtub, etc., etc. That's the weekend safety brief. Anybody else got anything?
Go to DejaFoxx.com. Donate.
Oh yeah.
Let's get younger people in this Congress.
Yeah. And if you're in Arizona's 7th district, make sure you turn out the vote. I'm not gonna tell you who to vote for. Although I'll be disappointed if you don't vote for our guests.
Yeah, honestly.
I'll be very disappointed.
All right.
Encourage other politicians to come on.
I hear you have a great family. I would hate for anything to happen to them.
One day, maybe soon, maybe not, maybe never.
Paulie! No, I'm sorry. Who's Paulie?
All right.
On that favor.
We're going to call it 2 claps to Rick. Woo!
Woo!
That was the most